they scream again. But we ain't listening. They said the sky was falling when he walked through the door. Called him every name in the book and still wanted more. While they're out there hugging terrorists and opening up the gate, he's building that wall and making America great. They cry about democracy dying every single night, but the only thing dying is their grip on power and their appetite for a fight. Keep the faith, America, he's keeping us safe. While the left keeps cheering for the bad guys night and day. They hate the flag, they hate the fight, they hate the red, white, and blue. But Trump's in the White House saying, not on my watch, not on my crew. So keep the faith, America, stand tall and stand true. He's fighting for you, and I'm fighting right there with you too. They want open borders, they want crime in the street. They want your money, your guns, and your God under their feet. They'll fund every protest, every riot, every clown, while American families watch their cities burning down. They scream defund the police, then call 911. Hypocrites in designer clothes having way too much fun. Keep the faith, America, he's keeping us safe. While the left keeps cheering for the bad guys night and day. They hate the flag, they hate the fight, they hate the red, white, and blue. But Trump's in the White House saying, not on my watch, not on my crew. So keep the faith, America, stand tall and stand true. He's fighting for you, and I'm fighting right there with you too. They call him a dictator while they censor what you say. They scream about fascism, but they're the ones taking rights away. They love every tyrant from Tehran to Beijing, long as that tyrant hates America and everything we believe. They'll tax you to death and spend it all on their schemes, while red states are thriving and living the American dream. Yeah, they can call us deplorable, call us every name in the book, but we're the ones paying the taxes and carrying the flag while they look. So go ahead and riot, go ahead and scream. We're over here keeping the faith, living the dream. Keep the faith, America, he's keeping us safe. While the left keeps cheering for the bad guys night and day. They hate the flag, they hate the fight, they hate the red, white, and blue. But Trump's back in the saddle, doing what real leaders do. So keep the faith, America, stand tall and stand true. He's fighting for me, fighting for you. Yeah. Keep the faith, America. We're still here. and we ain't going nowhere.
All right, well, there we go. All right, let's get the mic down here. Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is the Sights and Sounds of Earth. My name's Ian. It's nice to have you in this evening. And broadcasting live tonight from Auxiliary Control, or the Battle Bridge. If this is the Battle Bridge, we're all in trouble. But anyway, broadcasting live here in North Fort Myers, Florida. And tonight we're going to be covering a number of things, including Tropical Storm Bertha, which is anything but big. So we can't call it Big Bertha for sure. This is like little baby wimpy Bertha. Anyway, we're going to talk about that in just a few minutes. The horizontal wind shear has kind of blown off the cloud tops, and it prevented it from wrapping around. And so the land is really not getting that much rain at all. I do have some live shots up for you. All the shots you see pretty much around here are on the storm. We got Fox Weather up there. We've got some composites of what it looks like out there right now. A number of different camera shots. 6, 7, 8 different camera shots out there of what it looks like, including Bourbon Street. This thing's going right by Bourbon Street right now. But there's just not a lot to it. It's a little bit of light rain and drizzle. And some light gusty winds. I mean, maybe 25 mile an hour wind gusts at the most, unless you're right on the coast. But not that big a deal tonight. All right, so tonight, I do want to give you guys an update on Daddy Kitty. I know everybody's probably wanting to know what happened. After the show last night, he got up and started walking around, and he went over and used a litter box, and then I lay down. And he gets up at some point in the night, and I realize it, and so he walks to the end of the bed, jumps down, goes and uses the litter box, goes over and eats a little bit of food. I can hear him drinking water, and then he comes back around, and he literally gets himself back up on the bed again. And he walks back up, and he cuddles back up with me, and again, he goes back to sleep. So he bought himself a few days, guys. I can't put him down if he's walking and talking. So he's back there. He's sound asleep with his little kitten buddy right now, little Leonard, and they're so cute back there. I didn't want to wake him up, but I'll bring him up eventually so you can see him, proof of life, if you will. But he is still here. I couldn't do it, guys. I can't do it until the signs are there. And you know, he did all of his business last night. He pissed, he pooped, he ate, he drank. When a cat's doing those 4 things and he's not in pain, he stays, and we see what we can do. Am I holding out a lot of hope that he's going to recover? Not necessarily, but it's okay. I mean, I'm giving him the opportunity here to live a few more days because he's able to do that, okay? And if he does start to get better, we'll do everything we can to nurse him back to health. Yep, he's still with us tonight. Daddy's still here. He's back there sleeping on my nightstand, of all places, with his little baby kitty, and they're all curled up together. It's amazing. So yeah, well, and tomorrow I've got a bunch of stuff going on tomorrow. So Friday, Monday would be the next 2 available days that I might have to do that. So we're just gonna we're gonna keep the option out there. I'm hoping maybe we don't need it. There's always the possibility that he'll pass in his sleep too, and that's, in my opinion, that's the best way to go. Because he doesn't have to take the trip to the vet and all that kind of stuff and go through the stress at the last minute there. And so I kind of like that option. All right, anyway, I did get the ticker working. I could not get the ticker working tonight. I had to have it recompile the program for me. It was weird. So not sure exactly what's going on. All right, tonight we are watching Tropical Storm Bertha. Tropical Storm Bertha currently due south of New Orleans right now. And I'm going to put up the forecast so you guys can see that. You know, I'm one of these people, I'll be one of the first ones to say, this was a shitty storm and this and that. Well, at least it didn't affect anybody negatively. I don't think many people are going to have a negative effect from this storm. It just doesn't seem like it's all that it's going to be all that powerful. It's sitting over New Orleans right now, pretty much. Just south, maybe southeast of New Orleans as of 7 p.m. Central Daylight Time. And it is forecast to continue moving almost due west until it makes a second impact with the Texas Gulf Coast. Again, I don't expect much strengthening with this. Winds were at 60, they're now down to 45, so it's a weakening system. You know, one thing I wish that they don't do anymore is they quit giving the barometric pressure. And when I asked, why do we not give the barometric pressure anymore, they said because it confuses people. Anyway, it's at 1,002 millibars. There's all the data for you right there. It's at 1,002 millibars, 29.59 inches of mercury. Guys, I normally use millibars. I'm an imperial measure person. Everything to me is inches and miles and feet. However, when it comes to minimum central pressure, over the years, I've learned to do it in millibars. So that I'll try to give both anyway. 1,002 millibars. Most hurricanes live within the 900 to 1,000 millibar range. Once you get down towards 899, 895, those are the strongest storms that have ever been. Okay? And so many storms get down into the 930 millibar range, 920 millibar range, and you can get a Cat 5 out of that. All right, so anyway, 1,002 millibars, a high barometric pressure. This is not a deep system at all. All right, we're at Mike's weather page. There's Mike right there. What's up, buddy? And he looks drunk today. I don't know what's up, but that's Mike. Mike's a great guy. He's got this amazing page called Mike's weather page. I'm kidding about him looking drunk. He's obviously not drunk, but he's sponsored by ABC Liquor. How bad can that be, right? Let's see here. I'm going to put this in for you guys. It is the most comprehensive site where everything's gathered in one place that you're going to find anyway. Yeah, we didn't see much at all from this storm. It was breezy. And then we had 2 days of no rain at all and high humidity, which that sucks worse than the rain, believe it or not. All right, so the rain forecast, again, most of the rain's going to stay offshore. There could be some rain situation down here between near Corpus Christi. But they're not forecasting a whole lot of rain. The surge forecast, they brought everything down to 1 to 3 feet. I don't think surge is going to be a big problem with this storm. I think it's going to end up being, well, I don't think there is going to be a whole lot of problems with this storm. It's kind of like, how do you describe this storm? Well, maybe a shitty day. It's not even that shitty of a day, really. It's kind of a wuss-ass storm. You guys can quote me on that. Wuss-ass storm. This always happens in the first part of the season. You'll get your first couple of storms, and they just seem like such weak pieces of crap. But you just have to remember, even though we're late July, this is still fairly early in the season. All right, and you can see there, Dolphin Island, Alabama, 82 degrees with a barometric, with a humidity of 83%. Winds are currently holding out of the southeast at 32 miles an hour. And Biloxi, Mississippi, 79 with a 100% humidity. That's that tropical air coming in. And they're currently having winds out of the southeast at 17. Look at that. The reason it changes, that's the visible satellite. Once it gets dark, it has to switch to infrared. You can see that visible gives us a lot more data. You can see the low clouds. They look like a beautiful hurricane down there, but the high clouds are not wrapping around. And so since there's this displacement of the lower circulation and the actual central dense overcast and all the storms that are up here, they're off center. And so when you get that, you'll get a storm that won't strengthen. It can't stack up. It can't get everything together. Yeah, it's bad. We've had 2 very hot, humid days the last 2 days. Now, today, another hot, humid day, but today the thunderstorms cut loose. We had a line of pretty major, they were not, let me go back. We had a line of strong thunderstorms. They didn't even get a warning, but down here, we don't get a warning unless it's really bad. But we had a storm down here that formed up on the sea breeze line. Out towards the inland county line there, and it all started moving back towards the coast. Lee, Collier, Charlotte, all 3 counties had these storms moving across. And earlier today, this really messed up what was going on. We had a situation here in Lee County. The fan feels nice, but it's drying my eyes out. Okay, so what happened earlier today? Well, someone in St. Petersburg shot and killed somebody. And the suspect wanted in connection with the St. Petersburg homicide is in custody after barricading himself inside a vehicle on I-75 in Lee County, leading to a standoff that shut down the highway for hours earlier today. The Lee County Sheriff's Office and Florida Highway Patrol responded to the scene after troopers located the suspect vehicle in the southbound lanes of I-75. Dramatic video sent to Wink News appears to show law enforcement taking the suspect into custody shortly after shots were fired during the standoff, just after 5 p.m. And you want to talk about a traffic nightmare today down here? Oh, my God. Interstate closed both directions from just before 5 o'clock on to whatever. Southbound is still closed. The southbound temporarily closed to northbound and southbound lanes of 75 at exit 128, which is Alico. According to FHP and LCSO, 2 northbound lanes were able to be reopened to try to clear some of that traffic, but the southbound lanes are still closed at this hour as they're finishing the investigation. Right after all this happened, right about the time they were taking him into custody, that strong thunderstorm, it's not a severe, that strong thunderstorm moved right over the area where they were. So I can just imagine them all sitting in their cop cars waiting for it to quit raining so they can start this monumental task of measuring and photographing and scene capturing and all the different things that they do now of these major scenes. Not to mention the miles of traffic that they're trying to get turned around and sent back somewhere where they can get off the interstate. And where this happened was right near our international airport and cut off both lanes of travel into our airport. The only way you could get to the airport was kind of on the old road, the back road called Tree Line. You could still go back there and get to the airport, but the main route inside and out of the airport was closed. So this went on for quite a while. According to the Florida Highway Patrol, troopers were pursuing a solo vehicle. I guess they mean a vehicle with one person in it, from St. Petersburg after the driver became wanted in connection with a homicide. St. Petersburg Police Department said officers responded shortly after noon Wednesday to a reported shooting in the 4100 block of the 12th Avenue South, again, and that's up in St. Petersburg. Police said the victim was a 74-year-old woman who worked as a City of St. Petersburg sanitation technician for 12 years. That's fancy for janitor, which is cool because I like janitors. We really need these folks. She was shot and killed while sitting inside her front loader at work, in her work vehicle, in a front loader. She must work outside, I guess. Maybe not a janitor, maybe like a heavy equipment operator. Let's see here. Troopers attempted to stop the vehicle and the suspect barricaded themselves within the car. Efforts were being made to negotiate a peaceful surrender. However, troopers believe gunshots were fired at one point. According to law enforcement on the scene, they've cleared the area and the officers on site are shaken, but no injuries. The Lee County Sheriff's Department is expected to release the identity of the suspect later this evening. Wink News spoke to St. Petersburg Police Chief Anthony Holloway, who said the victim, a 47-year-old mother who worked for the city, was shot and killed during a police believe was a domestic dispute. The woman, who was working for the city for around 10 years, was shot several times by the suspect, who got into the cab of the front loader during the argument. Police do not know if she was working or on lunch break or what the exact situation was. St. Petersburg police believe this was a domestic shooting and not a random act. The suspect remains at large. That was from an earlier statement. He is now in custody. I wish they go through and change these stories. We all know right now is that, he crawled up into the cab of her front loader and he shot her at point blank range. What an asshole. There, I said it. I don't care. You know what? No matter how bad your spouse pisses you off, this is never the answer. What are people thinking, dude? What are people thinking? I've never done anything worse than raise my voice at a significant other. And even that, I regretted it. I don't understand it. I understand people get aggravated at people and people get in these no-win situations and stuff. But man, oh man, to have it come to something like this where he willingly gave up the rest of his life, whether they shot him dead on the road, which they didn't, they got him in custody, or they got him in custody, it's the rest. It was premeditated. He drove there to shoot her. So it's going to be the rest. He's probably going to do the rest. Is there, all right, I'll see if I can find that, William. Yeah, I can put some other stuff up. That upper left one, there's really not much going on there. I can flip that one out first. All these scenes you're seeing are from New Orleans, Mobile, Alabama, Bourbon Street, different places around. I was trying to give you guys an idea of what was going on. I didn't see much in the way. I did look down to see if I could find any immediate protests, and at the time there wasn't any. I'll be honest with you guys. I almost think the left is protested out for a while. I really think that maybe they are, dude. It really seems that they are because they're just not out in force. They really never were out in force, but there was like 20 or 40 of those blow-up dolls every night out there. There was the washed-up wedding singer every night. There was Teddy on a skateboard. There was the dragons, or were they dinosaurs? I think they were dinosaurs with the little arms. But anyway, those guys were out there every night. And then you had the BG on the scene and all these different channels out there. It's all kind of disappeared in the last 2 weeks. It's all kind of disappeared. And I don't know if, I do know that the money is dried up a little bit, and we can talk about that real quick. Believe it or not, and I've even got this asshole's picture on my front cover today on my thumbnail. House panel subpoenas 3 left-wing groups in probe of $39 million tied to the Marxist tycoon Neville Singham. You guys have been wanting me to talk more about this guy. Well, here it is. The People's Forum, Breakthrough News, and Tricontinental failed to produce a single document in response to earlier requests. Yeah, you know a group is guilty as hell when you ask them for a bunch of documents under subpoena, and they go, "We don't have none." You know that's because they don't have anything, because everything they have shows fraud. The powerful House Ways and Means Committee, that's the most powerful committee, pretty much. Some would argue, but Ways and Means is a pretty strong committee, has subpoenaed 3 left-wing nonprofits for an investigation into more than $39 million that flowed from that Marxist tech tycoon Neville Roy Singham to the groups over the last couple of years. In 3 letters dated July 21st and obtained by Fox News Digital, The committee accused the three nonprofits of failing to turn over a single responsive document to either of the large requests for information that have been subpoenaed. The committee, led by Chairman Jason Smith, Republican Missouri, issued the subpoenas to the People's Forum, Inc., a New York-based activist hub, Breakthrough News, a left-wing nonprofit media outlet, and Tricontinental Institute for Social Research, which says its work is anchored in national liberation Marxism. That sounds like fun. Yeah. The legislative action emerges as far-left nonprofits face growing scrutiny from law enforcement agency, policymakers, and federal agencies for their alleged roles in promoting communist propaganda, engaging in money laundering schemes, and fomenting discord and even political violence. Last week, Secretary of State Marco Rubio convened a summit of 65 nations to counter this far-left terrorism. On Monday, the State Department released a 100-page report on a network of U.S. organizations that allegedly promoted propaganda for the communist regime in Cuba. See, these communists, dude, they're all working against us every single day. The ones we've let in, that's called a foothold situation, which is what we've got in New York right now. These bastards, they're not coming over the gate. They're not coming under the gate. They're not coming through the gate. They're here. They're here and they're doing their damn thing right now. Socialist, communist bullshit. They're trying to fundamentally change the capitalism that made this country great. The panel said it's investigating whether existing laws governing tax-exempt organizations adequately protect against foreign influence. Well, apparently not. And whether Congress needs to choose to change those laws or not. The letters cite a 5-part Fox News digital investigation published back in March that exposed the flow of $285 million from that rich bastard Singham into the sprawling international network of nonprofits, activist groups, protest supporters, and media operations. Your responses have failed to include a single responsive document and misrepresented both the scope and purpose of the committee's oversight. The nearly identical letters state that were sent to all three organizations. Accordingly, the committee is invoking compulsory process to obtain the requested material. They'll go in with a subpoena if they have to. Of course, they're shredding it all right now. The panel alleges that Singham's channeled money through shell companies and donors advised funds reaching the three tax-exempt groups. Such arrangements, the committee said, can allow foreign-linked funds to pass through intermediaries that, by design, obscure the original source of the contribution. So he sends his money through third parties so that they don't see that he's sending the money. But he's sending the money. Singham is an American-born technology tycoon and longtime Marxist activist who sold his software company, ThoughtWorks, for an estimated $785 million in 2017. He now lives in Shanghai, China. He has since poured hundreds of millions of dollars into organizations advancing socialist and communist causes in the United States and around the world, according to Fox News Digital Investigation. The Fox News Digital Investigation also found that Singham pumped over $22 million to People's Forum, almost $17 million to Tricontinental, and $1 million to Breakthrough Media Enterprises, a parent of its media arm. The committee cited, according to that report. In a hearing earlier this year, the committee first sought records for the Public's Forum in September 25 and from Breakthrough News and Tricontinental in February. So they're trying to get to the bottom of this. Yes, he lives in Shanghai. He's an American that's rich, and he lives in a communist country because he likes communism. And then he takes all of his money over there, a lot of his money, and he funnels it back through third parties into nonprofit organizations that then turn around and bust the teacher union folks and the protesters down to these sites. They buy the stuffed animals. They buy the coolers full of drinks and food. They buy all that stuff that you see them dropping off in the evening before the bad protests get started. Yeah, I mean, communism never works for anybody. That's that is what it is. Yeah, but this guy, the reason I'm so interested in this guy is because he is directly funding, or at least was. See, all this has been choked off now. And you guys notice when the money runs out, the protesting runs out. These people were going out every night because they get their $100. They got a boss somewhere. They report to that boss. You know, they're dropped off down there 4, 5, 6 at a time in a car or a van. And then they protest till a certain time. You guys ever notice in these protests when we used to watch them? And we've been covering these for a freaking year. If you guys remember when we would cover these protests, do you remember that like at 8 or 9 o'clock, suddenly everybody would just walk away? Remember that? We used to talk about how, man, there was 50 people out here a few minutes ago, and now everybody's gone, and the washed-up wedding singer's putting his speakers away, and all the inflatable animals are deflated. You know what was going on? They were recalled. They're given a ride back home again. They were recalled. Okay, it's over. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. We'll meet you around the corner. Get on the bus. That's what happened. Okay, if there's a ton of protests, I've been having a hard time finding any of them. All I could say is if there's a ton of protests, like you say, which that has not been the preponderance of the evidence I've seen. But if there is a ton, like you say there is, they're not broadcasting. For some reason, they're not broadcasting. I've been told that there is an intermediate one up tonight. Let me see if I can find anything, because I want to put it up. Look, I want nothing more than you guys seeing these crazy moronic idiots doing the shit that they do best, acting like assholes. And so I want nothing more than to show you. Everybody's always like, why are you always showing those crazy liberals? You need to see every day what these crazy liberals do. You need to see every day what these liberals do. They're crazy, crazy liberals, and they're being funded by people in China. Yeah, I don't see anything coming up. Yeah. There's a number of protests going on around the world. That Jantar Mantar deal is a big deal. There's like 100 different streams in here on that. Some guy starving himself to death for some shit. I think hunger strikes are funny. I'm sorry. Am I mean? I think hunger strikes are funny. If someone says, I'm going to hunger strike until you do something, I'll say, all right, I'll see you on the other side. You're holding yourself hostage from food? How does that work? They're just going to let this guy die. They don't care. Hunger strikes. When prisoners go on hunger strikes, I'm like, good, we're saving money. Don't cook the food if they're not going to eat it. My God, there is 1,000 streams up that I'm having to go through here. That Jantar Mantar, man, that's the big one right now. They took him to the hospital a couple days ago. He wasn't doing all that good. I suggest he eats something. Oh, my God. I'm sure they got to be sliding him some food on the down low, right? They got him laid out in a bed, like in the middle of town square and shit. It's kind of weird. I saw nothing. I just went through 50 of them. I didn't see this ton of protests. Yeah, I don't see any of the tons of protesting that you've been talking about. I just went through all the protests and I don't see anything. Yes, I gotta see if I can take that. I guess I could. All right, I've got it there. Yeah, that's about the LGBTQ. They did an LGBTQ cruise, and they got all pissed off because the Islamists did not want them stopping in their ports of call. And that's their choice. I mean, that's fine. I see past the bullshit. I don't care who people screw, and I like them spending their money in my town, so I don't really give a shit. But if that's the way they want to do it, it just further shows. Is this live? What is this? Oh, it's the Israel Prime Minister there, you bastard. Alright, let me figure out why it's not playing. God, I just absolutely hate Windows 11. The way it handles audio, it's just terrible. I have to go in manually and set everything. And the thing is, if you use something, it won't come up until you use it. And then I have to, once I play something on it, then I have to go back and set it so that it will come through the system. It's just ignorant how they've done this. It's just absolutely ignorant. But that's Bill Gates for you. I don't know what to tell you. All right, I got a couple of stories here I'll play. Let's see. Here we go.
He has called for his citizens to protest the Israel Prime Minister at the United Nations. Big remarks come after New York's mayor said he doesn't have the authority to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu, who he called the architect of a horrific genocide.
Benjamin Netanyahu is not welcome in New York City, nor is any other war criminal at large. As I've said, I agree with the ICC that Benjamin Netanyahu should be arrested and tried for his crimes, as I do for anyone else charged by the ICC.
Mayor Mamdani has called on the US government to arrest Israel's Prime Minister ahead of his planned visit to New York to attend the General Assembly in September. But as we've reported this week, the US President, Donald Trump, says that will not be happening. New York's mayor...
What is with this idiot? Does he really think that's going to work? I mean, does this idiot really think that's going to work? Whatever, let's check this one out. Tell me what you think about this.
There is absolutely no possibility of the group inquience between Western intolerance and actual intolerance, thanks to our good friends in the Muslim world. Earlier this month, a cruise ship full of homosexual men set sail from Athens. The itinerary, well, it sounded wonderfully progressive. The Scarlet Lady, that's the ship, would sail to Turkey so the almost 2,000 gay men on board could mingle with the locals and get a taste for Islamic culture. Here's a little taste of what was headed Turkey's way.
Have fun, Sir Richard Nasty. We'll see you next time.
But in a plot twist visible from the International Space Station, Turkish authorities refused permission for the ship to dock. I know, right? It's a decision no one on what had been advertised as an epic all-gay cruise could possibly have seen coming. But Turkish authorities complained the LGBTQ ship was populated by, and I quote, groups known for behaviours that do not align with the structure of our society and our moral values. Now, just in case anyone was tempted to search for hidden nuances, they added this. There is absolutely no possibility of the group in question visiting our province for an event of this nature. Subtle as a brick through a stained glass window. The passengers, however, well, they seemed genuinely bewildered. And you can almost understand why. I mean, after years of being told that Islamists and LGBTQ activists are natural allies against Western oppression, it must have come as something of a culture shock to discover the alliance only exists on university campuses. But their disappointment quickly turned to sparkles when the cruise captain announced they'd head to Egypt instead. Here's one of the passengers who also works for the cruise organiser.
Gay cruise update. Okay, so I'm on the gay cruise that was denied entry into Turkey. And it's like, so what? Who cares? If you want a great hair transplant, go to South Korea. So we redirect. We're going to Egypt now instead. Amazing.
Now, maybe it's just me, but Turkey said no. Egypt will love us. Never struck me as a great plan B, especially when travel advisories have been politely trying to lower expectations for years. The Intrepid travel website warns Egypt is not a safe destination for LGBTQ travellers. Public attitudes towards same-sex partnerships are openly hostile and can include physical violence. And yet the ship full of gay men headed for Egypt anyway, with everyone excitedly waving rainbow flags. Then came another entirely unforeseeable development.
Wake up this morning, denied entry into Egyptian waters as well.
Well, I can't imagine the surprise.
Surprise, surprise.
No, this doesn't say explicitly because we're gay, but it's because we're gay.
I think that's a fair assumption.
But it's like, we're too
It's
gay
not as
to
much
come
who you
spend
do,
a
it's
bunch
how
of
you
money
act.
in your country. We don't need gay pride people. Don't we?
Somewhere I'm convinced Queers for Palestine are convening an emergency meeting to determine how this is somehow Israel's fault. In the meantime, they're blaming Trump.
As a gay man, it's really hard to hear. I know that this kind of prejudice is not new to these kind of countries. And obviously, I don't want to go anywhere that shares those kind of views. But you just can't help but feel that with this current administration, people around the world feel more emboldened to do these kinds of things.
Yep, Trump made Islamic nations hate gays. Muslims have no agency, they just react to Trump. A couple of points. First, the Turkish and Egyptian authorities may actually have done these passengers a favour. Refusing entry may have been considerably kinder than allowing them on shore. Second, the naivety of these men is absolutely astonishing. I mean, in the same way they seem to genuinely believe they're oppressed in the West, they're genuinely surprised that Islamic nations don't want a floating pride parade docking in their harbours. Reality can be such an unforgiving travel companion. Third, how's the entitlement? I had to shake my head at this statement from cruise organiser Rich Campbell. He said, and I quote, "It's very concerning to me when a country decides they can pick and choose which tourists are allowed in and which are not." Well, that's kind of the way the world works, Richard. So the big question for everyone on the gay cruise now is, well, where next?
If you're a country watching this and you have ocean access, you host, we travel.
Tempted as they'll be, I really urge them not to sail for Gaza, though given the remarkable ability of the progressive left to mistake slogans for reality, you wouldn't bet your house against it.
Well, there you go. We covered that last week on the other show when it was all in the middle of going on. Yeah, here's the thing. I'm fine with gay people. Just don't get any on me. But it was pretty stupid of these people to think that they could whip up the absolute... I guarantee most of the assless chaps in the United States were located on that one boat. I think that I think they act out like this and they just, everything's crazy, everything's over the top, everything's nuts, because I think they want to be rejected. Remember, these are just more of the same victim mentality. This isn't all the gay folks. This is the extravagant, flamboyant gay folks. These are the people that like to live that victim lifestyle, that mentality that it's them against us, man. It's really not like that. I would say the majority of gay people live a normal life. You'd never even know. And, it's no big deal. They like regular people. They're regular people. They just have a different sexual preference. Why can't these folks be that way? They have to act totally crazy, totally over the top, totally freakish. And then they're like, I can't believe they won't let us come to their country. And it's like, even if they accepted what you guys say you do in your bedroom, I still don't think they're going to accept that shit I just saw going on at the pool deck. I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing with me. Because I'm not anti-MM2S LGBTQIA2QQLSP+. I'm not negative that. How do you even say that? Anyway, the point is, I'm not anti-alphabet. I'm just basically saying that if you don't want to be treated like freaks, here's a piece of advice, okay? I want you to write this down. Gay folks, write this down, okay? This is a bit of free advice here. If you don't want to be treated like freaks, stop acting like freaks. Just saying. You can still do whatever you want in your bedroom. You can wear whatever you want in your bedroom. You can do whoever you want in your bedroom. But when you go out in public, out on a boat, or out in everywhere, and you act like an absolute freak of nature, you're going to get treated like an absolute freak of nature. So I don't understand what the problem is here. Yes, I think they could port in Iran. See how that goes. If I acted like that, if I was a big flamer like that, and I wouldn't even be caught dead with my gay ass in frickin' the Middle East. Are you kidding me? I'm straight. You won't catch me in the Middle East. Heath, I do agree. They need to, maybe Karg Island, named after one of my favorite Klingons, Captain Karg. All right, anyway. The rest of the chaps are in Bike Week in Daytona. Yeah, probably. And someone told me, I mentioned assless chaps on the radio last week, and someone sent a text in that said, technically all chaps are assless, therefore you don't have to say assless chaps. You just have to say chaps. And I have to admit, the texter was correct. However, if you're trying to put a little funny spin on it, you say assless chaps because it sounds better. All right, so there you go. Well, William, and that's the thing. Act like freaks, get treated like freaks. Walk around with your butt hanging out, and we're not going to want our children to see that. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't want children to be told, oh, look, those are a bunch of gay people, and they're really freaky. I don't want kids told that. I don't even want them addressing those kind of themes right now. Let them grow up first. God, they got them chopping their boobs off at 12 now. They ain't even grown them yet. I bet if I typed in chaps in Amazon, I bet you it would come up. I could buy chaps. Oh, my God. I wonder how many of these people wear chaps all the time in these parades and have never rode a horse in their life. I don't ride horses because they're nasty. All right, so anyway, well, that's the thing. The best thing you can do when it comes to this kind of stuff is just and not expose your children to it until they get a little bit older. That's my opinion. They want to start at first grade. They want to start in first grade and say, all right, everybody, today we're going to talk about gay, straight, lesbian. We're going to go through all the letters today. We're going to go MM2S, IA, LGBTQ, IA, QQ2S+. We're going to go through everything. We're going to talk about the murdered indigenous women that are in the club. I think any club where the very first people you invite is dead people, I think that's kind of a loser right off the bat. What do you guys think? What if I said, hey, I'm starting a group today, and it's only for people that died on bicycles in traffic? I mean, how successful could I be, right? Oh, is it? Okay, well, there you go. I'm glad my impressions work well for you. Even the fruity ones. All right. You should hear Trey and I when we get going and do the... You know, let me tell you something. 3 or 4 years ago, we almost quit doing the gay voices on the air because we were getting some shit. And now it's like it's accepted again. It's okay. I'll tell you another one. Retarded. There was a time when they asked us to stop saying retarded on the air because we were calling people retards, and they don't like that. When I say they, you know, people calling in and complaining. And now all of a sudden, retard's back in the playbook. You can use retard all you want now, which I think's great. See, here's my thing. You're not calling somebody a retard. You're saying you're acting like a retard. It's the same thing if I call you an asshole. You're not actually an orifice that passes fecal matter. You're actually acting like an asshole. In other words, your opinion stinks and nobody wants to be around you. That's an asshole. But I'm not like degrading assholes by calling you an asshole. It's the same thing with retarded people. I'm not putting down retarded people. If I say you're acting retarded or you're being a retard, okay? That doesn't disrespect retarded people. It just means that some guy that's not necessarily retarded is acting like one. And I'm glad we finally got all that worked out so I can go back to using that vernacular again. Anyway. Oh, are you talking about Daddy Kitty? Yeah, well, it's probably just a postponement of the inevitable. But I won't keep him around just for me. He is doing a little better today. He's walking. Now, not very good, but he's walking, and he's using the bathroom and everything, so I didn't take him this morning. I won't take him as long as he's still able to have some quality of life. And he wants me to pet him the whole time, and he's spending time sleeping with all his different cats. He cuddled with me last night in bed, and like I said, he got up and did all his business last night. So, hey, I'm going to keep him around. We'll see what happens. Probably Friday or Monday, but I'm trying purposely not to get my hopes too high, but I am praying for a better outcome. He just got sick, and if he can get through it, but then again, something may have shut down in there, and it may be too late to even get him back, so I don't know. You never stopped using it, huh? There you go. Talking about retard. Yeah. There's weird things like the word dick was like forbidden. That was a forbidden word. Not like your dick, but saying something like you're a dick. On the air, we're not allowed to refer to a penis as a dick. I'm not allowed to say, oh, he was grabbing his dick. That would be a problem on the radio. But I can say he's acting like a dick, and it's perfectly okay. Because, see, once again, I'm not saying he's an actual priaprismic penis. What I'm saying is he's acting like a penis. Okay, that's pretty all it. And so it's the same thing there. Yeah. All right, let's see here. Spaceballs. I love Spaceballs. I'll tell you what, Spaceballs, of course, made by a genius, of course, but Spaceballs is one of the best spoof movies ever made. And then they came out with another one of the best spoof movies ever made, and that was the one with Alan in it. Galaxy Quest. I think it's pretty neat that the two big franchises each had a really good spoof movie. They did. I mean, when they said they're jamming the sensors and the jam runs down the screen, or ludicrous speed, or the end scene, for God's sake, oh my God, going back to the Planet of the Apes. I absolutely love Spaceballs, and I absolutely love Galaxy Quest. Two amazing spoof movies. Let's see. Yes, George Carlin's 7 dirty words are actually down to 4. I can't say the F word on the air. I can't say the S word. I don't understand why I can't say shit on the air. It's something we all do. It's like, why does your butt need to be covered up? We all have a butt. It's not like my butt looks any different than your butt. It's just a butt. Why? Why do butts have to be covered up? I don't get it. Whatever. If you think it's necessary. But anyway, with the 7 dirty words, we're down to the C word, the F word, and shit. And like I said, you can even say dick now, but you have to say it in the right context. And it's like you can say sucker and you can say cock, but you can't say them together. You can say hole and you can say ass, but you can't put them together. Okay? There's weird things like that. Yeah, it's pronounced Frankenstein. The F-bomb. The F-bomb, of course, that's still the big one. Actually, the C word is probably worse than the F-bomb. Yeah. The whole thing's ignorant. Let me tell you something. If they came out today and said you can say whatever you want on the radio, we're deregulating completely. You can say whatever you want. My boss would ask us not to say those 4 dirty words. And I would be perfectly fine with it. Okay, boss. No problem. We don't need those words. I try not to... shit I use a lot, but everything else I try not to use on here. And I don't mind having some decorum, you know? So, I don't think these laws are necessary. I question the constitutionality of the FCC's decency standards that they try to enforce. I know places like ham radio, they should not be allowed to enforce decency standards on ham radio. It doesn't apply. Ham radio is a traditional public forum. There's a lot of places. Now, commercial radio, once you go commercial, it's different. They do regulate decency on commercial radio, but it's time for that to end. It's time for that to end. If a radio station says the F word all the time, don't listen to that radio station, and they'll go out of business. That's how it works. That's called capitalism. That's capitalism. Oh, I don't know, Heath. My show here or my one at work? My show here, I would rate it R, because I do cover adult themes, and it's not designed for children. My work radio is PG-13. Well, and that's the exact point, the Lone Silencer. And that's why even the FCC years ago said decency will be decided by the area where the station's located. So in other words, you might get away with calling people asshole in New York on the radio, but you're certainly not going to get away with it in North Georgia. You know what I mean? It's kind of one of those things where they look at the regional acceptance of whatever it is that you're saying. Some of these DJs that have been fined $10,000 for saying nasty things on the radio, it's never because, the C word slipped out one time and they got, it doesn't work that way. It's a pattern of being nasty on the radio. Okay, like I get a caller. We've had bad words get on the air before. It's very rare because we have a dump button. But every now and then something will get on the air, and if it does, we just go on. There's nothing we can do about it. And we've never been fined because we're very good about not trying very hard not to let stuff get on the air. Yeah, yeah. To liberals, the C word is capitalism. I love it. Yes, it's the free market, William. It's the free market. Any channel that goes out and starts FFFFCCC, they're going to lose their advertisers. So we don't even need this FCC regulation. We would police ourselves, and we would do a fine job. Yeah, and it's all just what one person thinks is decent in a certain area of the country, and I don't like that. It's too subjective. Yeah. Yep, I think my show at work's a little more PG-13. This one here, I do a little more swearing on here, but it's mostly because of the adult themes. I tell you guys, this is not a kid show. It's on later at night. I know it's not late at night across enemy lines, but for this coast, it's pretty late. Let's see here. Yeah, we don't do the forced apologies. We just ignore it and go on. The last thing you want to do is bring attention to it. I have that issue with my host now with like when I screw up and I hit the wrong button on the board or something. He'll go, "What, you hit the wrong button?" I'm like, "Would you stop doing that, dude? Don't draw attention." But he thinks, to him, it's fun. He doesn't like look down on me because I hit the wrong button. He makes some fun out of it. You know, you hit the, and so I've learned over the years that instead of trying to cover things up or whatever, just make a joke about it and go on. And Trey's kind of taught me that over the years. Yeah, I actually find drunk people doing live shows on YouTube to be quite entertaining. Yeah, just ignore it and let it go on. We had an F-bomb in a clip. It was kind of hard to hear, and we didn't catch it when we edited it a while back. And we played it. It went out, and the guy in there, he goes like, "F you," in the background, and it was missed. No one ever said a word. No, it was one of those things. It was an error. It was missed. It's not like we're trying to degrade the Earth's dignity or something. My childhood was sponsored by HBO and featured the comedy greats George Carlin, Eddie Murphy, Sam Kinison, Andrew Dice Clay, and Jay and Silent Bob. Well, let's see if I can do a few. We got George Carlin's like, "There's 7 dirty words." Okay, you got that guy. I love George Carlin. Left of center, but I still related to most of what he said. And then you've got, let's see, who else did you have there? Some great ones. Eddie Murphy. I can do Eddie Murphy. F, 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 F. That's Eddie Murphy. I loved his humor, but every single sentence had 4 or 5 F words. He could use the F word as a noun, a verb, and an adjective in the same sentence. What a talented man. Anyway, and then we had Sam Kinison. Yeah, Sam Kinison. Yeah, you like Sam Kinison? Yeah. Do you like Sam Kinison? I love that guy. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite bit roles he did is in Back to School. My God, he was funny in that. He plays this lunatic teacher, and he was so good in that. Andrew Dice Clay. "So I had my tongue up." Yeah, that guy. He's great. "Hickory dickory dock." I really can't do any of his stuff on here without going full X, you know what I mean? But yeah, he's funny. If you guys like really nasty, dirty shit, go look up Andrew Dice Clay. And if you have attention deficit disorder, then just look up the when he does the nursery rhymes. But the beginning's fun. The first 4 or 5 minutes of the show is just him lighting a cigarette. And he's not saying a word. He's grunting. He's lighting. And he's lighting a cigarette. He comes around. He lights it. And then he starts the entire show with, "So my tongue's up this chick's rear end," and that it is hilarious. From there on, you just laugh for about an hour and 20 minutes. Anyway, I love dirty humor. I love sick humor. I love it. We used to sit around the fire station and watch Eddie Murphy, and who's the other guy? There was another guy that was really good too. That was similar to Eddie Murphy. I can't remember his name. I think the Dice Man is still around. Oh, still around. Richard Pryor. That's who I'm thinking of. Richard Pryor, another great comedian. Yeah. See, these guys were all dirty, nasty comedians, but I like that kind of stuff. Then you got into the more wholesome guys, you know, the cable guy, and the tater, and the sign guy, and the redneck guy. You remember those four guys? They're great. But that was definitely more family wholesome humor than the stuff we got in the 90s, which was mostly like your mother runs and hides from this shit type of humor. Yeah. He's on tour. The Dice Man is on tour. Oh! One of my favorite nursery rhymes, and it's one I can actually say on here. He says, oh my God. He goes, so, he says, Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet eating her Cajun way. Along came a spider and sat right down beside her and said, hey, what's in that bowl, bitch? Oh my God, I love those. The rest of them are too dirty for on here. That's the only one I can like say on here. Oh my God. Yeah. He's in Fort Lauderdale in September. I would love to go see him, but I'm just not a go to shows kind of guy. But if I had somebody who really wanted to go, I'd love to go with them, especially if they're paying. All right, let's see here. Oh, I love that guy. I don't know why. People are probably thinking, man, that guy's terrible. You shouldn't like it. But I do. I think his humor is hilarious. All right, I'm looking to see if any protest shit's popped up here while we're sitting here, and I don't see anything so far. Little boy blue because he needed the money. Jack and Jill went up the hill, each with $1.25. Jill came down the hill with $2.50. Oh, what a whore! All right, I gotta stop. That's about the last one I can do. All right. The upper left camera is it's east of New Orleans. I think it's in Alabama. I didn't find many cameras. When you get towards New Orleans, there's not as many cameras as there is in Biloxi. I think this one's in Biloxi. Yep, not a whole lot going on. I mean, I got to tell you guys, this is a fairly minor storm. We're basically doing this one for the numbers right now. That's pretty much where it's at. The models all show it maintaining tropical storm strength until it gets to Texas. So Texas is going to take a tropical storm strike, but it's not going to be anything to worry about. It is a pathetic storm. It is. I mean, there's no way around it. But this is very common in June and July to get storms that just can't quite get it together. This one had a lot of horizontal wind shear coming down from the top, from above it, from the north, pushing the central dense overcast further south, preventing the churning to actually get that moisture up into the storm. It never really happened. The storm never really formed. All the rain stayed offshore pretty much, and it's just it sucks. There's just not much to it. Oh man, you see, you got to see all my political ads. There's Blaze Angolia, whatever his name is. I tell you, I'm so sick of political ads now, and we still got months to go. Our primary down here is still 3 weeks away. And it's the Joe Biden of hurricanes. That's right. I've found some issues with YouTube lately on the back end, where stuff doesn't load fast and things are kind of slow, but I haven't really noticed, but I'm not chatting, so I don't realize if your chats are getting in or not, you know? So I don't really know. It wouldn't surprise me. YouTube is growing very fast, and there's going to be little glitches here and there. Oh, Andrew Dice Clay. I don't know. Let's look. Let me see if I can find him. Yeah, there's the dice, man. Oh! Still alive, still kicking. Born Andrew Clay Silverstein, in Brooklyn, New York in 1957. He has 2 children. He's a comic, and he's been active in comedy since 1978. He's done television, film, and stand-up comedy. Known professionally as Andrew Dice Clay, it's American stand-up comedian and actor, rose to prominence in the late 80s with a brash, deliberately offensive persona known as the Dice Man, a cartoonish, hyper-masculine, Italian-American street tough caricature that claimed to weaponize misogyny, ethnic bravado, and shock, but caused widespread offense, and people loved him for it. In 1990, Andrew Dice Clay became the first stand-up comedian to sell out Madison Square Garden for 2 consecutive nights. That same year, he played the lead role in the comedy mystery film The Adventures of Ford Fairlane. Clay has appeared in several films and television shows, including critically acclaimed supporting roles in Woody Allen's Blue Jasmine and the 1980 remake of Star is Born, the latter of which earned him a nomination for the Screen Actors Guild Award for Best Performance by a Cast Member. He continues his acting career while also touring and performing stand-up. The television show Dice aired on Showtime for 2 seasons. He also launched a podcast, I'm Over Here Now. That's the name of the podcast. And there you go. So born in 57, that makes him very late 60s. Goddamn Windows 11. Yeah, I don't know where. Yeah, Blue Tech said I don't have that story. It's not been in my wires today. I don't know what you're talking about. Not aware of any ICE agents being arrested. I'm sure that's your pipe dream, though. Stop getting your news from Facebook, dude. I only use official news sources here. Yep, Democrat socialists, man, they're literally trying to upend the system here. We're going to have to really, in the future, this is going to be the fight that goes on. It's that's why I've been saying for a while, it's not right and left, it's right and wrong. There's nothing right about being on the left. They're always for the bad guy. They hate more than they love, and that's pretty much across the board. They're angry, disgruntled people, screaming and yelling over being misgendered, crazy, doing stupid things like gay people supporting Islamic terrorist groups that would kill them if they got the opportunity. There's just so many things out there. The left is just so fundamentally confused. And if you need any more proof, the proof is everywhere. Just simply look at the red states and the blue states. I've got some data here. I'd be glad to go through with you guys. Let me open this up here. I worked this data up 2 weeks ago for the show, for my other show, and this is some great stuff right here. I'm gonna have to find it here. This is so stupid. Google's gotten to the point where anytime I go to sign in anywhere, I have to do 2- and 3-step authentication, and it's gotten really ridiculous. But yeah, anywhere you go, anywhere you start looking at, where are we at with what states are better, what states are worse. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that you look for. You want to basically start looking for data that would support one side or the other of the whole equation. And what you come up with pretty quickly, oh, I know what's wrong. God bless America. There we go. Okay, there we go. All right. So I did this research. This is quite a bit of research, and I'm going to show you guys. I'm literally going to put this on the screen so we can go over it together, because and this is all from official sources. This is the current absolute fact of what's going on out there. All right, and here we go. I'm going to just do a little scrunching here to fix the size problem. Damn OBS. I have the hardest time getting it to choose the right window. All right, there we go. Okay, so what we got here is... this is a piece of research that I did a while back, and what's really cool about this is it lays out all of the most important factors that if you were going to say you were going to pick a state to move your family to, this is the kind of thing you would want to look at. And so here we go. Let me reset that there a little bit. Okay, so basically, let's look at our best states, highest to lowest, okay? Let's look at our states based on the top marginal income tax rate, okay? Because if a state's charging you income tax, they're in bad shape. So anyway, here we go. Number 1 state in the union. They charge 13.3% state income tax in California. Look at the violent crime rate. 2,500 people are victimized per 100,000. What political party controls this mess called California? Well, it's a Democrat trifecta. They own the House, the Senate, and the governorship. Okay? How much debt is California in? $497 billion at last count. Net migration trend. People are leaving. Very strong outward trend. Property tax rates, 17 out of 50. Overall tax burden, 12.2%. Cost of living index, 142. That's expensive. That's one of the most expensive places to live, other than Hawaii, which is number 2. Again, a Democrat trifecta, charging you 11% income tax. State debt, $8.2 billion in debt. People are leaving more than they're coming in. Their property taxes are very low. That's one good thing. Their overall tax burden is fairly high, and the cost of living index is astronomical. It's very expensive to live there. The third worst place to live is New York City. They have almost an 11% income tax. They have 2,100 people fall victim to violent crime out of each 100,000 people that live there. That's a very high crime rate. Who runs New York? Well, it's a Democrat trifecta. Again, it's all Democrats. Are they in debt? Yes, they're in debt over $220 billion, and it's actually quite a bit more than that. They've got a strong outflow, and the overall tax burden is incredible. And cost of living, $125. That's a high cost of living. Now we're going to go a little quicker through the rest of these, but New Jersey, almost 11% income tax. And there we go, a Democrat trifecta. The state is $110 billion in debt, and people are leaving. Oregon, almost $10, 10%, almost 10%. $10 on every $100 you make goes to the state of Oregon. You're very likely to be involved in a major crime there, since 2,388 people out of every 100,000 are victims of crime each year. So who runs Oregon? Well, it's a Democrat trifecta. And they're $25 billion in debt, and there's a moderate outflow right now. Minnesota, number 6. Almost a 10% income tax. They are leaning Democrat, meaning 2 out of 3 houses are Democrat. They're $25 billion in debt, and there's a slight outflow. Not quite as bad as some of the others. Number 8, Vermont. Almost $9, almost 9% state income tax. Democrat trifecta. $4.1 billion in debt. Now, there's a couple of outliers here. You've got Wisconsin, Republican trifecta. They've got a very high marginal income tax. Not a good place to live. But look, there's an inflow. Notice everywhere the Democrats are in charge, there's an outflow. And pretty much everywhere the Republicans are in charge, there's an inflow. Okay, so it's pretty obvious what's going on here. Now, let's get down to a couple of serious ones here. Illinois, number 14. Illinois charges you 5% income tax. 1,800 people out of every 100,000 will be a victim of a crime. And they're $140 billion in debt, and there's a strong outflow. Everybody's leaving. High tax burden. A terrible place to have to live. The next one up is Maine. Once again, a Democrat trifecta. They are over 7% state income tax. Are you writing all this down, Blue Texan? I hope so. I'll send you the document if you want. Number 19, Michigan. Democrat trifecta. $35 billion in debt. And they've got an outflow. And it's not looking all that good there. Now we start getting down here. Look at this. We go down to the bottom of the list. Look at this. These are all Republican. Look at this. Some of these places are great to live. There's Florida. We are almost one of the best places to live. 0% income tax. 0% income tax. Tennessee, Texas, Florida, Nevada, Washington, South Dakota, Wyoming, Alaska, and New Hampshire. No state income tax. Why are you living where you're living today? All right, so anyway, Florida, 0 income tax. Violent crime rate, very low at 380 per 100,000. That's right. Florida is just under 35 billion in debt right now. I know that because we just did a story on that. Very strong inflow, and currently gaining hundreds and thousands of people each week. It's amazing. You know, cost of living's good. The overall tax burden is fairly low, and the property tax ranking is not so bad. Florida, and I will admit it, Florida is of a lot of the states has a higher property tax, but you pay a lot less property tax than you pay income tax, and we're getting ready to do something here where we're getting ready to roll back all of the homestead taxes dramatically. So that number is going to come way down. So you can see by this, and this is real figures. There's some Republican places here that aren't looking all that good either. But if you look at it, for the most part, all of your bad states up here are almost all Democrat. They're all in big trouble up here. Look at these states. What's the difference? The difference is, yeah, Austin, Texas. Austin is a liberal bastion. Whatever. The point is everywhere you go that Democrats run the place, you're taxed out the ass. The crime rate is terrible. There's a huge state debt that you have to deal with, and the people are leaving. You know, the Civil War is being fought right now. It's in progress. You guys just don't realize it. The Civil War is being fought right now. Do you know how we're fighting it? We're fighting it with U-Haul trucks. And Florida and Texas are winning. We've about got all the U-Haul trucks down here. They have to fly people down here. They fly 150 people a day down here to Florida to pick up U-Haul trucks and trailers and as much shit as they can cram on one unit. And then they drive it back up to New York again and immediately rent it out for top dollar to someone in New York that's moving back to Florida again, and then they'll have to fly that guy down here. You know, used to be years ago, the travel between states was a lot more normalized than it is today. Today we got states that are losing at such a dramatic rate, and other states like Florida that are gaining people. I didn't mute myself. Check, check. I didn't mute myself. I don't know what just happened. I just flipped the mic off and back on again. It must have died or something. I don't know. Anyway. So to finish up this little discussion here, you can see by my little chart that some of the worst places to live, some of the absolute worst places to live, most of the worst places to live, most of the absolute worst places to live are Democrat places. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I did not mute myself. Okay, that's not what happened. All right, the damn thing quit. My fingers are up here. Nobody muted that. I'm having issues with this sound card. I reset it and now it's working. Yeah. The debt in Florida is very low. It's like 35 billion or something. And like I said, it's actually less than that now. So 35 billion compared to, say, California at 500 billion. It's amazing. Florida has very little debt, and we actually are at the point of paying it off within the next few years. Yes, William? It's being fought right now. Yeah, it's being fought right now. Well, the states that bring in the most money used to be California was number one, but that's changing. Because all the richest people in California are moving to Texas and Florida, and to a lesser degree, about 5 other states. You got to look at the outflow of people. all the people that California is losing right now are the top earners or they're high earners. And all the people they're onboarding right now in California are no earners. They don't pay taxes. They're not legal. And they're a complete and utter drain on the system. So this is what's happening right now. The Civil War is being won by us. All the good people are moving here. All the people that have money are moving here. All the people that are liberal turned conservative are moving here. All the people that are diehard conservatives but stuck in a liberal state are moving here. Meantime, all the illegal aliens are moving there. All the bums are migrating there because that's where all the handouts are. That's where the free epidermic, the free needles, that's where you can get the free. They even have a needle buyback program now. For $1 a piece, you can actually collect up your own needles and sell them back to the state for $1 a piece. So they give you the free needle, and then once you find something to put in it and you shoot it, if you're still alive, you can collect your needles back up and you can turn them in. That's liberal. That's liberal, stupid bullshit states. That they do the stupidest things. And they wonder, why do we have this problem? Florida doesn't have this problem. I walk around here all the time. I've never seen a hypodermic needle on the side of the sidewalk in downtown Fort Myers. It's unheard of. Well, the conservatives moving to Texas far outweigh the liberals moving to Texas. I think there's, I've got my production sound card is called a Scarlett 2i2, and it's just 5 or 6 years old, and I've used the shit out of it, but it's still working. But every now and then it just stops like that, and it shows connected, but there's no audio. And then if I go and reset my mic or I reset my box, it starts working again. I think we could. I hate to give up California. It's a beautiful place. But we'd have to clean it out and start over. The people there are just disgusting. Not all of them, of course. There's actually still some really good people trapped behind enemy lines. That is correct, Deploribus. That is an absolute fact. 3 or 4 or 5 of these states actually that show Republicans in charge and show a lot of debt. It's because the Republicans are now newly back in charge. That is absolutely true. Yep. So how long do you think, looking at California's numbers here, already charging 13.3% state income tax, and they're doing a rich tax. That's what's driving all the rich people out. They're doing a rich tax. And I'm glad. We're actively trying to get all these people to move to Florida. We want them. Yes, I will agree. California has great weather. We can agree on that, Blue Texan. Yes. They also have very diverse climates. They also have some of the prettiest sights in the entire world. Some very beautiful places to go see in California. It makes me sad that at this point I would not even travel to California. I don't think I could ever make enough money to go there. It's just everything's so expensive. Yeah. Yep, California has better weather. That's for sure. Yeah, California has great weed, I'm sure. Of course, Florida does too. Yes, Gavin Douche Newsom's parents moved to Florida. They moved to Florida. And when he found out, he was pissed. Yeah, they don't even want to live in their son's state. They literally don't want to live in their son's state. What does that say? I mean, you guys, you can look at these numbers, and I ask you, why? Why would anyone want to live in one of these failing states? Sarcastic, yeah, Sarcastic Susie, I would love to see that kind of movement. As much as I'm never for more regulation and stuff like that, this is one here I would support. I think that just like we should have our own language that we claim, we should have our own way of life that we claim. And that's capitalism. To protect us, I think we need. Have a good one, Texas. We'll see you next time. You don't have to shut up, though. You're always welcome. Let's see. Yep, so there you go. And D Beard, have a good night. So there you go. What we really end up with is the Civil War's going on right now, and well, the South is winning. Blue Texan, so many women from California have moved to Florida that I don't think you could even make that claim anymore. You guys have no idea how many celebrities have moved. A lot of celebrities moved to Georgia a while back. There's a lot of celebrities not living out there anymore. There's a lot of models and hot people and everything. They're all moving to Florida too. California is an equal opportunity loser. Well, there you go. That must have been fun. Yeah. Yeah, it figures Bill Clinton. It was pretty good. So yeah, I mean, however you look at it, when you do the math, no state's perfect, no state's great, no state's terrible, but you do have some that are much better than others, you know. To me, the two biggest things to me is the state income tax. You literally give up over 13% of what you make in California, plus you give up another 18 to 20% in federal. So you're at like 32%. And they also have the highest gas taxes, the highest fuel taxes, the highest road taxes. They have their property taxes are about middle of the road, but most of their other taxes are off the chain. I think Hillary Clinton used the same person to make her clothes that Kim Jong-un uses. It's funny you bring that up. They both wore very similar pantsuits. Oh, God. I couldn't imagine having to listen to Hillary Clinton for for 4 years. It sounds like when she starts yelling, it sounds like cats fighting. Matter of fact, one of the funny things I do at work is anytime we play a clip of her yelling about something, as soon as it's done, I go, "Is there cats fighting in the studio?" Rear, rear. Absolutely crazy woman. I got more rain coming. Wow, look at that. I was going to go feed the cats. I'll just wait till it passes. I've got a sheltered place where I feed them outside, but if it rains really hard, it still makes the food all wet. Oh, there's a smart statement. If we still had Joe Biden as president, we wouldn't be doing anything right now because Joe Biden wouldn't actually be the president. So there you go. We needed to take care of Iran. I mean, it had to be done. You're just going to let them sit out there and cook up a nuclear weapon? You probably would, though, because you're one of these people that just puts your head in the sand and says whatever makes you feel good. Who's worse, Hillary or Kamala? God, I don't know. I'm going to say something now that might surprise some of you. Hillary actually has some intelligence. She's not a stupid woman. And it hurts me to say that, but you're comparing her to Kamala Harris. She's adult. That's about as stupid as they come right there. All right? That woman's never had a deep thought, even about a well. Okay? That woman has never, ever sat and thought about anything. She's never, like, expounded upon anything or talked in depth about anything. Hillary Clinton, on the other hand, if it's something she knows and cares about, she can actually hold a discussion with you. As far as their voices are both annoying, but Hillary Clinton's voice is definitely more annoying. She's got more of the cat fighting sound in her voice. So yeah, I don't know. Like I said, at least Hillary has a few brain cells to like rub together and make a fire. Where Kamala Harris, she's literally a stupid woman. I mean, I hate to say it, whatever, but she's a stupid woman. She doesn't have anything going for her. Not to mention she's 3 tacos short of a fiesta. Yes, Hillary has somewhat of an IQ. Now, how much of it she can use in practicality, who knows? Because that's the big thing. Being smart and being practical and being able to use the intelligence practically is 2 very different things. But she is definitely a lot smarter than Camel Toe Harris. I mean, come on. Oh, my God. And then we got, now they're talking about, right now, the front runner for the Democrats, is Kamala Harris. That nutty woman. She is the front runner right now. I mean, Clinton has not indicated she wants to run. So the second runner up right now is Gavin Douche Newsom at like 15%. And then below that, you really don't have anybody but AOC coming up at about 10%. Now, we talked about how stupid Kamala Harris is. We could do worse. I think AOC is actually slightly less intelligent than Kamala Harris, which, yeah, that's saying quite a bit. I don't think she did anything as VP except giggle and laugh and name post offices. That's about all she did. She was the border czar, and she let in 10 million people and only went to the border once and didn't actually go to the border. We need a competent president. I don't care what sex they are, and it's sexist to even worry about what sex they are. We don't need a female president. We need a competent president. That's the difference. That's rational thinking versus people just, I think we need a black president now. I think we need a cisgender, bisexual, black female president that identifies as a non-gender person from SETI Alpha 5. That's what I think we need. You know, it's just like Joe Biden. I don't know who the next justice is going to be, but she's going to be black. What? We're appointing people because of their race or because of their sex? That's bad. Always bad. You promote somebody because they're competent. I would be fine with the right female president. Justin Trudeau, another woman we could have run for president. That guy can't run for president, by the way, because he wasn't born here. Your commie buddy up there, Commie Memdami, he can't run for president either, thank God. But then again, the socialists are planning on doing away with the office of president. So there you go. Not really a big deal. They'll take care of that in the paperwork. Yeah, Renee would be a great candidate. There you go. There you go. I mean, anybody that's smart enough to try to run down a cop, has got to be smart enough to do other things, right? Okay, first of all, women do have representation. Okay, I mean, look how many female governors we have. Look how many female congressmen we have, female senators. I mean, I think, first of all, that's a ridiculous point. Number two, I think it's also ridiculous, equally ridiculous, to make it sound like a woman cannot be fairly represented by a man that represents her in the House or the Senate. I think that's ridiculous, too. And I also know you're just trying to crank me up, so it's okay. It could easily be time for female representation, but then again, it's not, because we don't have a female that's worth being president that could run right now. The heir apparent right now is J.D. Vance, possibly with Rubio as a vice. And when they do a J.D. Vance against any other candidate, he still wins. So I mean, I think it's going to be a weird election cycle, because they're not going to have a good candidate to put up. They're just not. There's not going to be a good candidate for them to put up. And of course, they're going to put up like Kamala Harris. They got to put up somebody that's ethnic. They got to put up somebody that's a female. I mean, they got to have a black vagina or whatever in order to do it. And so it's going to be someone like that. They're going to put her in there. She's going to lose miserably, just like she did last time. And then they'll blame Trump and they'll blame everything else. Whatever. Newsom, Pritzker, or Kamala AOC? God, I don't know. I don't know, though. We really need a woman right now, don't we? Really? Yeah, so I'm trying to tell you, I would rather have the Kamala AOC ticket because I think they'd be a little easier to beat. I know that sounds crazy. Matter of fact, I would prefer Kamala Waltz again. I would like the same ticket as last time, because, I mean, Tampon Tim's been doing so good with his state. Everything's going so great there. Men's rooms with tampons. Dude, what a life. What a world. What a world where you can live in a state where the men's room has tampon dispensers. If we could just get condom dispensers in the women's room, I think we would be all set. That would be the place to go live. That's right. No, I'm certainly not against. I think women are just as qualified as men at nearly every job, unless it involves physical strength, and even some cases there. But no, I'm perfectly fine with a female president. Perfectly fine. But you can't just elect some stupid bitch because she's the female that's running, and you think there needs to be a woman president. So you're going to hold your nose and you're going to vote for some woman that can't string more than about 7 English words together at a time, that giggles through everything because she's so stupid she can't answer questions. No, I have not heard about a pink tax. No. You get your news from the left, I guess, or from Facebook or whatever. Pink tax. I've never heard of a pink tax. A pink tax is a tendency for products and services marketed specifically to women to be priced higher than functionally identical or similar ones marketed to men. I don't believe that happens. You can say that. I don't believe it happens. I don't buy it. It doesn't refer to a government tax. It refers to a form of gender bias price discrimination. This is more of the victim mentality. Everybody's a GD victim right now. The women are all victims now because they have to pay more. Yes, women's hairspray probably does cost more than men's hairspray, and there's reasons for that. But I don't think it's that big a deal. So you're saying women's razors cost more than men's razors? It couldn't be because their razors are made differently, or Their razors are I don't know. I mean, I can't believe they just literally charge twice as much for the same razor. Yeah, I don't believe that happens. I would love to see a list of price comparisons or something. Do you have anything? Do you have an article? Do you have something I can read on that? I mean, geez. AOC was a barfly. That's worse than a prostitute. At least she charged money. AOC just went home with the last man she was with. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I kind of agree with all that. Let's see. That's a good point, Lambert. Why are the black people's combs cost less than the white people's combs? Women are vain. They require things to be better and different. I don't think it has anything to do with the color. Yeah, I mean, Heath, I think you're right. I think it probably boils down to different standards required or different sizes, different types. I don't know, but I'm going to look into this. I'm going to actually task Rock with a deep dive and see if I can find proof either way on this. I have a funny feeling if I price check a bunch of shit, that we're not going to see that there's that much difference. Yes, and razors are razors. If you think the women's razors cost more, then buy men's razors. The only difference is they're blue instead of pink. How hard is it? Unless maybe there is something different about them, and that's why they cost more. If you don't want to use a man's razor because it's not as good, maybe that's why the pink ones cost more. Could be. Yeah, maybe the free tampons were of the pink tax. Could be. Could be. I mean, you got to thank a man for putting tampons in the men's room. You know? You really do. He could have put a milkshake machine in there. But no, it had to be tampons. He could have put a fountain machine in there. That would have been nice. You know, some Coke, Pepsi, Mountain Dew. He could have mandated that they all have a candy bar dispenser and have Snickers and Reese's Pieces. But instead, he wanted each men's room to be equipped with a tampon machine. Just in case there's some fruitcake out there that thinks he's a girl and he needs a tampon. Let's face it, there's only one other orifice down there, okay? So if a man is cosplaying, I think if a man's cosplaying a woman, he could bring his own toys, don't you? We shouldn't have to provide those in shopping malls and schools, right? Yeah. I mean, it sounds to me like tampons are so cheap, even the men can get them, right? I mean, come on. Yep, I don't know, man. All I'm telling you guys though is I don't know exactly about a pink tax. I know that when it comes to shampoos and stuff, women's shampoos have a lot more chemicals in them. They've got a lot more moisturizers and finishers and cleansers and split end preventers and all these other things that men's very basic soap shampoo doesn't have. So I have a funny feeling that if you did enough research on this, you would find that your pink tax is simply just an illusion brought on by differing products. I would love to know, I mean, I would love to know how many men have actually, and what do you do with it? If you're a man and you're cosplaying being a woman, okay, and you go into the men's room, well, first of all, shouldn't you have went in the woman's room? You're cosplaying a woman, right? If you're cosplaying a woman, shouldn't you go in the woman's room? Isn't that the whole idea? So then you could get your tampon to I guess shove up your ass, because I don't know where else you'd put it. You could go get your tampon for your little cosplay game. You could easily get that in the woman's room, couldn't you? Because if you're cosplaying a woman, you're allowed to go in the woman's room in that state. Not in Florida, but in that state. So wouldn't it be okay then to just go ahead and just have the tampon machines in the woman's room, where the men cosplaying women would actually be pissing and shitting? Doesn't that make sense or no? I mean, this whole thing is confusing to me. You want to hear both sides, but you're clearly on one. Look, anybody that tells me I'm on the fence, I don't know about the right or the left, I'm on the fence and this and that, pick a team, dude. You know, only losers don't pick a team. I got to tell you something. There's good guys and there's bad guys, all right? You should be able to see pretty clearly from that chart that I just showed you, from all the stuff we talk about here, you should see pretty clearly that one side has a relationship with good and one side has a relationship with evil. One side likes fraud, one side doesn't like fraud. One side likes terrorist organizations, one side doesn't like terrorist organizations. One side loves our country. The other side hates our country. One side loves capitalism and feels that our country is the best thing that's ever been made in the world. The other side feels that our country is fundamentally flawed, needs to fundamentally be changed into a socialist or communist society, and that capitalism needs to be scrapped along with the representative republic. So you have good guys and you have bad guys. I don't know how you can split the difference. That's like saying, well, I robbed one bank, but I'm taking a chill for a while. You're either a good guy or you're a bad guy. You either wear a white hat to work or you wear a black hat. Okay? It's that simple. Life is black and white. It is. When it comes to what side you're on, you're either pro-American or you're not. You're either pro-democracy, pro-representative republic, or you're not. You're either pro-normalcy and pro-society or you're not. You're either pro-sovereignty or you're not. You can't be on both sides. You're either good or you're not. And that's the bottom line. And I don't care what religion you are. I don't care if you're atheist, agnostic, Christian, Buddha. I don't care what you are. You have to choose what side you're going to be on when it comes to politics. It's no longer right and left. It hasn't been for a while. It's right and wrong. That's why the left has lost the blue-collar worker. That's why the left is losing the unions. That's why the left is losing the blue-blooded, blue-collar Americans that kept this place running all this time. The people that make the cars and the people that do the work. That's the people they're losing right now. They're losing black males. They're losing Hispanic males. They're losing all these specialty groups. They're down 20% in Hispanic females. Why? Because the party it's just for the crazies and the bad guys. It's a party for the crazies and the bad guys. That's the bottom line. They don't represent normalcy. They don't represent intelligence. They don't. Look at all the bad decisions they make. One bad decision after another. There is good things in all people. I don't necessarily agree. I will say there's good things in most people. But see, what these people consider good is not what I would consider good. They want to ruin my country. So I don't understand why, if someone has some good in them, why that changes anything. We're talking about the future of our country and the future of our way of life and our very culture being changed or subverted. That's what we're talking about here. Yep. Well, that's why I play you guys both sides. I let you hear these protesters. I want you to hear them. I want you to hear the lunacy. I want you to hear the crazy talk. I want you to hear the nutty shit that these idiots say. Because no one speaks against the Democrats better than the Democrats. No one makes my point better than these idiot dolts on the left. Yeah, if you're in the middle of the road, you're going to get run over, okay? Why would you be in the middle of the road? Because you can't quite commit to being on the side of good? Makes no sense to me. Someone can be a good person and still be stupid and confused and led down the wrong path by people they know on Facebook. I think that's the difference. You may have a child that's a good child, but he gets in with a bad crowd. That's what we're talking about here. And that's what happens. These conservative families raised... Cat, what's with the ass in my face? These conservative organizations, and these, when you sit and you look at what's going on right now with all of the things that the left is trying to do and all the things that the right is trying to maintain, you have to ask yourself, do I think America is the best country in the world? If yes, you're on the right. If you say no, you hate America and you don't think it's that good, then you're on the left. It's that simple. All right, guys, I'm going to be calling it soon. It's 11:37. I've done over 2 hours tonight. I do appreciate it. Tomorrow night, programming note, tomorrow night will be the last night where I start at 9:30. As of Friday, Trey will be back, and I will be getting out at 7 o'clock each night, and I will be going live at 9. So by the time I get home, I still have about an hour and 10 minutes or so to get things ready and to eat a little bit, and so that'll work out good. So tomorrow night, I've got Michael Broomhead in again tomorrow night. Great fill-in host, national level fill-in host. He used to fill in for Mark Levin and Glenn Beck and those guys. And he's a great fill-in host. I've really enjoyed working with him this week. Tomorrow's his last day this week, and then Trey's back on Friday. And so hopefully things will return to normal. And then, of course, over the weekend, I have 3 or 4 things planned, but nothing big. The reason I bring this up is I will be unavailable till about 2 or 3 in the afternoon both days. I'm going to be working with dispatch on one of the days. I'm taking Mom out, and we're going to take a drive across the state on the other day. So those are my plans. But each of those days, I've also got other things I'm doing around the house. I got a little lawn to cut and things like that. And the main thing is, though, is as we get towards 3 or 4 in the afternoon, I'm going to check for breaking news. If stuff's going on, I will come in early. If you remember last Saturday, I came on at 6. It stayed on till midnight, almost midnight, and I don't mind doing it. Yeah, if you hate America, move. Go somewhere else. I'm sure somebody would love to have your ass. Yeah, let me see if I've got that. I'm on my backup computer. Let me see if I can find that. There it is. I think it's 1B you like. Let's see here. Side B. There we go. Got it. Okay. Yep. I'm putting it on the button bar. There we go. I'll play that, and then we'll do the outro. So it's about a 10-minute outro here, guys. So hang around if you'd like. Keep chatting. But I'm going to go start feeding the cats and getting things ready here. The first song here is Trump, and it's made in the spirit of Kid Rock. And everybody likes this one. A lot of people like this one. So we'll go ahead and play this tonight on the way out. And then we'll do our regular closers and we'll get out. So you guys have a good night. Tomorrow I'll be on at 9:30 tomorrow night. So you guys make sure you join us. Blue Texan, tomorrow night, try to bring a real argument. That would be awesome. And for the rest of you guys, I hope that hope you're well. And, well, I hope he's well, too. I hope everybody's well. I never wish bad on anybody. So there you go. I think we can bring him around, guys. Blue Texan. I think we can bring him around. Sometimes he comes across thoughtful. I think we can bring him around. All right, so let's just leave it there. All right, everybody, I want you to have a good night out there and a safe tomorrow. This is the Sights and Sounds of Earth right here on StarShip Adventures. My name's Ian, and we are broadcasting live from Auxiliary Control at StarShip Studios, broadcasting worldwide on YouTube via fiber optic connection. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful night out there. If you're in the Louisiana and Northeast Texas area, stay dry. It's going to be an interesting 36 hours, but nothing severe. Nothing to really worry about. All right, everybody, have a good night out there. We'll see you next time right here on the Sights and Sounds of Earth. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, this one's for the red, white, and blue. And the man who fights for it. No apologetic patriotism. Packed with vivid imagery of trucks, beer, guns, women, and living free. Production is loud, polish it wrong, polish it wrong, polish it wrong. When a man fights for no apologies, a straight fire, let's roll. Woke up this morning feeling damn proud. Star stripes and waving, crowd screaming loud. Donald's back in the game, making America great. Tax cuts flowing, putting money on my plate. Unemployment low, jobs for every man. Black, white, Hispanic, you net in the land. Supreme Court locked with justice is true. Overturning the mess that the left tried to brew. Border wall strong, illegal turning back. No more free rides on the taxpayers' back. Hell yeah, Trump, patriot fire in your veins. Fighting for freedom through the pouring rain. No backing down, no sorry ass plea. America first, that's the way it should be. From the heartland to the sea, we stand tall with Donald leading, we won't ever fall. Patriots rise, let the eagles fly high. This is our country under God's blue sky. Energy booming, oil rigs pumping hard. Independent now, no more begging in the yard. Abraham Accords, peace in the Middle East. While haters cry foul, he's slaying the beast. Warp speed vaccine, saving lives in a flash. Criminal justice reform, cutting through the trash. Veterans get choice, no more waiting in line. Trade deals with nigga cheating, making China wine. Regulation blast, saving billions quick. Economy roaring like a monster truck kick. Hell yeah, Trump, patriot fire in your veins. Fighting for freedom through the pouring rain. No backing down, no sorry ass plea. America first, that's the way it should be. From the heartland to the sea, we stand tall with Donald leading, we won't ever fall. Patriots rise, let the eagles fly high. This is our country under God's blue sky. But look at the fools trying to tear it apart. Socialist snakes with a black-hearted start. 10 pine, 10 walls with a joke of a guard. Putting pads in boys' rooms, man, that's low. Instead of the riots, let the cities burn bright. Now begging for peace when it's out of sight. Somali fraud in Minnesota, stealing the vote. Election scams running, choking our throat. Illegals pouring in, fraud on the rise. While real Americans open their eyes. All these ICE protests, stupid as hell. Anti-American trash, ringing the bell, blocking the streets, assaulting the law. Socialist puppets with a commie flaw. Blow up dinosaurs, guitar strumming clowns. Portland frog hopping, turning smiles to frowns. They hate our borders, want chaos to reign. Funded by souls, driving us insane. Tampa Tim and his crew, inciting the fight. Now crying uncle when the flames burn bright. Somali schemes, voting dead from the grave. But Trump's coming back to clean up the rave. No apologies here, we're calling it straight. These riots are garbage, sealing the fate. Hell yeah, Trump, patriot fire in your veins. Fighting for freedom through the pouring rain. No backing down, no sorry ass plea. I'm America first, that's the way it should be. From the heartland to the sea, we stand tall. Donald leading, we won't ever fall. Patriots rise, let the eagles fly high. This is our country under God's blue sky. Amen. Space Force launch. Stars in our grass, religious freedom, no more liberal class. Drug prices dropping, saving folks from the pain. I boom and putting us ahead in the game. Tariffs hitting hard, bringing jobs back home. No more selling out to the globalist dome. Government efficiency, cutting the fat, dosing initiative. Yeah, we like that. Pardons for the brave, January 6 crew. Fighting for truth, what the hell would you do? Back to the protests, what a pathetic parade. Anti-law lunatics getting paid to invade, throwing bottles at agents, obstructing the way, comparing the floor just to lead us astray. Traffic jammed up, threats in the air, widespread madness, do they even care? Tampa Tim hiding, calling off the dogs now after fanning the flames like a sacred cow, Somali fraud queen. Twisting the rules, but patriots know when nobody's fools. Just a cow was rich, like it's cow, huh? Mighty's in niggas, girls, risk and one of done. No city for me, the song sounded camatanic. Fingers and gifts, part Vegas authentic. Hell yeah, Trump, patriot fire in your veins. Fighting for freedom through the pouring rain. No backing down, no sorry ass plea. I'm your never first, that's the way it should be. From the heartland to the sea, we stand tall. We're not leading, we won't ever fall. Patriots rise, the eagles fly high. This is our country under God's blue sky. Yeah, that's how we do it. Trump's rub, Regis net, no back in there.
Welcome back to reality.
Is that special someone in your life screaming at the TV every time they see our president? Crying in public because literally Hitler just tweeted? Still wearing their Teachers Union supporter shirt from 2012 while yelling fascist and Nazi? Well, help is finally here. Introducing Trumpanol, the leading treatment for acute Trump derangement syndrome in adults. Available in original Trumpanol daily tablets, MAGA strength Trumpanol for MSNBC addicts still crying about 2016, Trumpanol anal suppositories for when the derangement is really deep-seated, Trumpanol butthurt cream for triggered snowflakes, Trumpanol overreaction ointment to calm hysterical meltdowns, Preparation Orange for that burning sensation every time they hear his name, Trumpavol to finally let go of their Oval Office obsession, MAGA ears to stop hearing racist and fascist in every sentence, Trump drops to dry up the endless tears over mean tweets and see reality for the first time, MAGA middle for monthly emotional cycles triggered by Fox News, MAGA, the performance enhancer that makes your sex life great again. Hopefully this will help her chill out. Trumpalax, the powerful laxative that helps them shit out years of liberal brain rot. Trump wipes for cleaning up after explosive emotional diarrhea on social media. Trumpicillin, the antibiotic that kills TDS bacteria and CNN talking points. Trunquil, the nighttime bitching, complaining, protesting, hating, stupid head fever so you can rest medicine. Slip into a peaceful acceptance of reality. Trumpanol, for rapid onset TDS, comes with a fact-acting IV applicator. Trumpacid, calm your belly when the bad orange man comes on TV. Patriot Patches, for steady and continuous medication so you don't relapse in the office later. And LibBlock condoms, specially formulated to attack and kill liberal or socialist sperm, because the last thing you want is little liberals running around with your last name. Trump PM, get a good night's rest and wake up loving your country. Trumpacaine, a topical analgesic that will put away the pain of defeat after the next election. Trump Anti-Raid Rub, it's gonna be a great massage. Trump-Ozac, specially formulated to ease the anxiety associated with red hats, orange hair, and the success of others. MAGA tugging cream, to prevent friction injury while she is spending all that time protesting. Trumpilium, mood stabilizer for the real crazy ones that need extra help. Trump adrenaline blocker, for when you can't stop yourself from running down an ICE agent. Trump Zempic, because no one should have to be fat and liberal. MAGA Meltdown Gummy Bears infused with THC, a fast-acting way to take your medicine. Comes in 2 flavors, original and now the new Freedom flavor. Trumpons, absorb your monthly meltdowns with Trumpons approved for use in Minnesota men's rooms. Comes with the orange MAGA applicator. Finally, if all this does not work, try alcohol. Introducing the new Landslide Lager, a Trumpanol-infused alcoholic beverage. Drink your ignorance away with Landslide Lager. Trumpanol is a medication that works fast to reverse the debilitating symptoms of TDS and bring your loved one back to reality. Side effects may include uncontrollable urges to be nice to the people around you, sudden improvement in critical thinking skills, excessive consumption of red meat and outdoor grilling, spontaneous outbursts of America, enthusiastic patriotism, flag waving, and an inexplicable desire to get a job or start a nuclear family. Patients have also reported increased tolerance for differing opinions, temporary loss of victimhood, sudden appreciation for border security, complete remission of pronouns and biosyndrome, spontaneous voting for lower taxes, and in extreme cases, you may even become an entrepreneur and start your own productive business. Do not take Trumpanol if you are allergic to winning, common sense, or constitutional republics. Available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Buc-ee's, Radio Shack, Sky King Fireworks, the Portland Airport, in the Portland Mall, and in the Trumpanol kiosk at the ICE building in Portland, Oregon. Or just buy it wherever fine psychedelic and hallucinogenic drugs are sold. Trumpanol. Get back to reality. Stop being a crazy bitch. Ask your doctor if Trumpanol is right for you.
Trumpanol, welcome back to reality.
This is the YouTube channel StarShip Adventures, broadcasting live from StarShip Studios in North Fort Myers, Florida, in the United States of America. We thank you for joining us this evening for another broadcast of the Sights and Sounds of Earth, covering every breaking news story across this troubled planet of ours. We've brought you the raw, unfiltered pulse of the world in real time through our unique multi-screen format, broadcasting in high definition worldwide via fiber optic connection. StarShip Adventures, a new kind of YouTube content. To our regular viewers, our loyal crew members, our amazing moderators, and everyone who tunes in each night at 9 p.m. Eastern, we thank you. Your support keeps this independent voice alive and well. We'll be back tomorrow evening at 9 p.m. Eastern with another live edition of the Sights and Sounds of Earth, right here on StarShip Adventures. Until then, stay safe, stay informed, and may God bless you and these United States of America. This is StarShip Adventures, and this concludes our broadcast day. Good night, America, and around the world. Kilo Oscar 4, Echo Foxtrot Sierra, signing off. QSY, 7 3s, everyone, 7 3s.